Good afternoon. We'll call the County Equalization Consolidated Board to order on this day, Wednesday, April 11th at 1 o'clock. Start off with oath of office. You guys all want to stand up and read those? Raise your right hand.
I, Trey Simon, a member of the Consolidated Board of Equalization for Brown County and the state of South Dakota for the year 2023, being first duly sworn, depose and say that I will fairly and impartially perform the duties as a member of the Consolidated Board of Equalization and state, that I will endeavor to equalize the assessment of all real estate property within the jurisdiction of which I am responsible, that I will seek to place upon the books of the tax jurisdiction within the county any property that may have been omitted by error or neglect of the assessor. I will faithfully and impartially perform all other acts enjoined unto me by law, to the end that all assessments within the above county may be complete and just and equal as between the property holders. Amen.
Alright, I'll start off by asking for nominations for chair.
I'll nominate Dwayne Sutton to be chair.
Grab that nomination. Pass.
Okay. I have a nomination for Sutton. Any others?
Move the nomination cease and recast unanimous ballot.
Okay, unanimous ballot for Dwayne Sutton as chair. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
All right, to keep everything on par, we probably should elect a vice chair just in case, Gene? Or do you think,
Probably good.
open the floor for nominations for the position of vice chair?
I'll nominate Mike Gage to be the vice chair.
Okay, do we have a second?
I would second that.
Okay, we have a motion by Dennert, second by Mayor Shoneman. Mike Gage is vice chair.
I'll move the nomination cease, recast unanimous ballot.
Is there a second to that?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Dennert, second by Alm. Nomination ceased, cast unanimous ballot for Mike Gage for vice chair. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Congratulations. All right, we are organized. Turn it over to Gene and his crew for stipulations and corrections.
And first one on the agenda will be, Rock Step, Aberdeen Mall. And, met with them regarding, just kind of the status of malls in general at the moment. Kind of what's kind of the trend in cap rates and how things have, various vacancies in the malls, the trend as far as online shopping versus brick and mortar shopping that's kind of gone on. And after going over some income and some discussion, Russell has come to a stipulation with Rockstep, with the mall, that they are in agreement with.
$3,780,000.
Yep.
Okay.
You said that they agreed to that?
Yep, these are all stipulated, those are all numbers that they've come to an agreement with, so these are all, the ones we have here are numbers that when we contacted them, if they, as long as you're okay with them, they're not contested numbers.
Who's on the phone? Just recording. Okay.
Right.
Yeah, it's just us.
Do you want these handled individually or collectively?
Let's go ahead and handle those individually, it's probably okay.
All right, the first one stipulated to is the Rockstep property, and they have agreed to $3,780,000. Entertain a motion to accept that stipulation. Okay, motion by Alm,
Second.
second by Dennert. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
The next three are gonna be pretty similar, but we'll still handle one by one. They're all, subsidized housing, I believe.
Yep.
All have some various guidelines that come into play regarding what they can collect for rent, what is guaranteed for rent, and some things like that. I think they take some rental cut based on the fact that they're guaranteed getting what they get, as opposed to some open market rent and something like that. But it does reduce probably the market income. And Russell's worked out some income approach steps with them that they've come to agreement with.
Yep.
I don't know if you have any other comments regarding that.
Subsidized housing is kind of its own beast. They don't follow the same market trends as an individual-owned apartment complex. They have to, they have fixed rents, they're capped out for X amount of years. So therefore, they kind of get guaranteed occupancy, but at a lower rate. Their management costs are substantially higher to keep up with kind of the turnover and everything else. So they are kind of their own beast. Their main competition in Aberdeen, these three properties are all Costello properties. Their main competition in Aberdeen is like Aberdeen Housing, which their properties are all exempt. So they got that they work against as well. So
Where is the first one physically located, Russ?
the first one is Acadia Creek. That's in Happy Central by the high school there. It was that first complex that was built.
North of Safe Harbor?
Yeah. Nope, not that one. It'd be west of Safe Harbor.
Okay, real kind of tall and long.
Yeah, this one's got 6 or 7 individual buildings.
Okay.
No garages. The one you're thinking of is the senior housing
From-
right off of Milgard there.
The first one was, yeah.
Yeah,
that
that
probably
one's
is
actually
housing
exempt,
storage.
so, yeah, that kind of goes back to their competition. A lot of that is exempt property or exempt entities. These guys are kind of in between. They don't really follow the same market as other apartment complexes, because they're kind of locked in. They can't necessarily sell. If they do, they're signing 30-year, 20-year contracts to get the grants and the interest rates to build these. So we worked with them about 3 years ago. So our income data that we had was 3 years old. They kind of rode the increases with other apartments this year. And I think we came to the conclusion that they kind of got to be separated away from the other apartments, and their income, it reflected that.
So they get a certain amount from the renter, and then the difference is made up by some federal housing program.
Yep, correct,
Okay.
correct.
Right.
Yep.
Okay. All right, and they've stipulated to $2,168,120, correct?
Correct.
Yes.
Okay. Which is, pretty good savings over what, the original assessment was,
Mhm.
$400,000. All right, any further discussion? If not, I would entertain a motion to accept the stimulated recommendation of $2,168,120.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, we have a motion by Alm, is there a second? A second by Gage, any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Carlisle, that's the one over on Third Avenue, behind Super City, kinda?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
It's gonna be pretty much the same story. Well, they're all owned by Costello, so it's all,
Yep, be same story. That one's actually senior housing, but same type of program. Previously, you'll see kind of a discrepancy from what we sent out in the censor board to kind of what they requested to what we recommended. Previously, what we had come up with was an kind of economic obsolescence additional to being an apartment complex, and we just kind of rode that obsolescence, and they kind of carried with other apartments in Aberdeen. And that kind of worked, but we noticed every apartment had a different type of obsolescence, although so we're kind of backing into it in the previous years. For this year, we pulled them out, we got them, kind of looked at them all as a whole and individually, and came up with kind of a economic factor, that holds true for all the complexes, so they don't get the same push every time an apartment, the market in the apartments trend up, and like this year, I think we went up about 20% on big apartment complexes. Well, their income didn't justify a 20% increase, where others may certainly have, so.
Okay. Go ahead.
Not to put you on the spot, but do you know what the 2022 assessed value was on any of these?
I didn't grab those cards, but I would guess it'd probably be in that probably 20% less. I could probably back into one pretty close.
$1.6 million ballpark, or?
Yeah.
20% would be more than 10.
Right.
Back up all the way here, or what?
Be about 1.6.
About 1.7, roughly 1.75.
On the Carlisle, it's about
On
1.7,
the,
you think?
on the Carlisle, yep.
Okay.
And they paid it last year, I think? I'm just curious,
Yep.
thinking about if they were okay with the one last year and the year before. Now we're going
Yep.
to a point though, and I know we already did the other one, but I mean, we're going to a point that's less than it's been
Yep.
for probably quite a few years then.
Yeah, so what we recommend on those ones is, I recommend we get last 3 year-end, income statements, and then we go through those and we pick them apart
Okay.
and itemize. And if we have any questions, we go back and forth with them, and get any additional information that we need. That takes out any anomalies, that may be on an individual year or anything like that, maybe a big improvement project that they pulled within that year's statement. And that's kind of how we arrive at, our values. Now, the Carlisle had a lower, we had a lower economic obsolescence factor on the Carlisle apartments, and they hadn't actually appealed that one for a couple years back further. I think there were 5 years since they ever appealed one. They've appealed the other two more recently. So that may have been why that one's seen a bigger, reduction. They offered us everything we asked for to be able to do an
So Russ,
approach.
for, when you're talking about the comparables with the private market ones that are just
Yep.
700 or 900 or whatever the owner chooses per month, do you look through those guys' income statements, or that's only if they challenge it?
We usually only if we challenge it, because we usually aren't gonna get a full income statement from,
Private owners.
private taxpayers, legal owners. If we request it, most we could probably get is probably like in a survey type function to try and get everyone. We're actually working on getting more of that, data from all, owners. But typically, when it comes down to an income approach to value, we're gonna need their very specific, data.
Put your friend in court.
Yeah.
A lot of times, even when we start doing a survey, we'll probably get, a gross, we'll use a gross income multiplier is probably what we'll be doing when we start doing surveys. So we'll be getting, $1,200 a month rent over a period of time, divided by a sale price, and eventually you'll get a gross rent multiplier that we can apply through a group. Typically, a private entity doesn't want their income and expenses just out there and everything, so the fact that you see a 3-bedroom apartment higher and 3-bedroom apartment sell for rent for, $1,200-$1,500, and you can kind of lump those together as a gross rent multiplier.
Yeah, and we monitor that, what's market rent, a lot of times advertised rent. Right now, I think advertised rent's very close with market rent. I realistic, because there's pretty low vacancy rates right now on apartments, but, doing surveys would be good to get a little more hard rental information.
So how many other apartment complexes beyond these Costello properties kind of fit this mold of quasi-government subsidized?
Taxable, none, so, all
Like
the other ones are
Yoke Bolin
exempt.
has some,
He does, but he's not on the same type of programs as these. These are programs that are put into effect when they are constructed. He may, like, some of his apartments that like Fifth Avenue apartments, at one time, I think that maybe was, but since he's had it, I don't believe I think it's ran its course, and it's just
so he's just treated like the private market guy.
yeah, and he may accept some, low-income,
Vouchers or whatever.
yeah, vouchers.
Housing,
Yep,
yeah.
yep, so, and there's quite a few, landlords that do that.
Sure.
And
This
then
is a different program altogether.
Different program, yep.
So are most of these properties, are they able to keep them filled?
Yeah, yep.
Yeah, I think our vacancy is pretty low all around on residential
Good,
property.
that's fine, yeah.
I'd say under 5%, for sure.
Under 5.
Oh, yeah.
Those new ones north of 24th, northeast, or north of Bullgate, that's gonna add a pretty good number of apartments to the
Yes.
mix, isn't it?
There's
Those two new buildings?
100 unit and a 72 unit, I believe.
Okay.
Yep, and I think the 72 is gonna be 55 and over,
Oh,
I
okay.
believe. That's what they're gonna have there, so.
Okay.
Yep, that'll probably spread out that vacancy a little bit over
Yeah.
a year or two.
Right. Okay. Anything else on the Carlisle? Not, I would entertain a motion to accept the $1,266,673 stipulated amount.
Make that motion?
Motion by Mayor Shonneman. Second by Dennert. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Up next, Jordan Park. Where is that located?
That's gonna be on South Lawson Street, kinda those, be that complex directly east of Bethesda. So it'd be,
Bethesda,
what is
okay.
that, 1400 block,
Okay.
With
One was
2
like
stories.
2 stories?
Yeah, like townhouse.
Oh,
buildings.
yeah.
yeah.
Takes up that, pretty much that full block, doesn't it?
Yeah, yep.
Okay. Same story?
Same story. That income, they asked for a little bigger reduction, but their income didn't support that, so we kind of met in the middle there, $1,498,886, and they were good with that.
We're okay with it?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. No reason to keep beating that dead horse. Entertain a motion to accept the stipulated amount.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, motion by Alm, second by Gage. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. On to Pearson Ford.
Late discovery, just like a half hour ago.
Yeah.
But, upcoming, we do have an appeal from Chrysler Center and all that stuff around there, Chrysler and Chrysler Used and Abra and some of those, wondering how they were different than Pearson Ford, why Pearson Ford didn't go up. And it's because, well, we missed Pearson Ford going up. So, what we would like to do is, as a board, recommend to raise their value via an errors and omitted by a value of whatever Russ has here. We can notify them today, and as if a board recommends that we do an omitted, we can put them on the agenda for the 25th. That does give them the opportunity to appeal that value if they want to. So that, the fact that we have that much time, we can do it today, this is the best way to do it. The other thought was to lower the Aber stuff to get to what Pearson is. That's an easier way, but then we also then try to look at everything around that loop, like Conlins and Skadeway, and all those are in that same, and the more, I'd rather have one wrong and make it right than have 4 wrong just to be easier. So what I'd like to do is have the board tell us to send an omitted, or mis-omitted property.
So Russ, what was the value and what is it going to be?
Okay, so the value we sent out was, $990,839. And where the error is in the land calculation, so they missed their land increase, so it'd be an additional increase of $65,340, which puts a total value of $1,056,179 would be the
So it increased by
revised.
65,340.
Yep.
Okay.
What was the value of the land out of that 990?
What we sent out was 241,323, and a revised value would be 306,663.
Over a 6-acre parcel.
Yep.
And the increase was just based, because that's about a 27%, 28% increase on the value of the land. That's
Yep.
based on what those other guys had seen for an increase, or just based on the size of the property?
A little bit of both. Actually, these increases it was missed last year too, so it got missed in the CAMA, the land break. So what they were seeing is, why is their land higher than this one over here, as my neighbor that has more land? They're right in that regard. So what we ended up, we didn't actually raise land out there this year, it was raised last year. So this was actually missed last year as well. I don't know if that answers your question or not.
So it's just the first 2 acres.
Oh, yeah, the break. So the first 2 acres over here is at $2 a square foot. And then the next 2 acres, so the 3rd and 4th acre is at $1 a square foot. And then after that, the next 2 acres is 50 cents a square foot, and then anything after that is 25 cents a square foot, so.
Is that based on street frontage
Yep.
versus not street
Accessible frontage, and
Right.
kind of
Yeah.
front-loaded values
And
on
that's
the
just
lots.
like most properties, the value is just in having the value. I mean,
Right,
value,
right.
you know, to your first, the more value, the more acres you have, the less valuable that extra stuff is.
Right.
So that's where the first 2 acres are at, you know, the higher dollar per unit than we try to keep on going.
Sure.
And so was Pearson's raised last year, and they just didn't see an increase in the land, but their physical property was, or
Last
nothing?
year, they did actually their land increased some last year too, just didn't increase on the same incrementally like it should have been, so the CAMA system errors an error in there. I think what their number actually ended up being was 2 acres at $2, and then 2 acres at 50 cents, and then the rest at a quarter, where it should be 2 acres at 2, 2 acres at 1, 2 acres at 50 cents, and .16 acres at 25 cents.
So last year was 990, 839, which is what they were proposed this year, or was it lower than that?
It was, last year it was 907, 560. And, yeah, so if you're comparing,
So about a 10% increase, and now we're looking at add another 4 or 5%,
yes.
Yeah.
maybe 6%. And that's appreciably what the Chrysler Center saw also?
Yeah, so, yeah, it's about, with this land adjustment, it'd be about a 16% increase, from what last year's assessment was. Pretty comparable to what Chrysler Center, would be, because there was no new growth or anything, it was all just market-based increases. We kind of raised all commercial somewhat.
Did every commercial property get hit this year, touched?
Everyone except for maybe the ethanol plant, or,
Just waiting to see how many low-income people live there, or what?
Yeah. They were worked on a couple of years ago, and everything's been pretty steady, they had a sale, but, yeah, pretty much. And I guess that's in the township anyway, but,
Okay.
yeah, everybody else kinda got a little bit of a bump of some sort.
Pearson's a site, isn't that an Iowa-based firm that owns the property?
Pearson's? They got, they're getting their tax bill
Right here.
at the dealership, but Donald Pearson is the actual owner. I
Yeah,
guess.
there's a kid that moved to town here just real recently, moved back to town, and Pearson is his last name, and he went to work there, so he said it was his family's. I don't know if that means his dad or his uncle
Well,
or
that's
somebody.
Yeah, Ronald Pearson, so legal owner.
So what you need from us is a motion to authorize you to up the value by $65,340 this year yet,
Correct.
so that they can have the opportunity to come in and appeal
They would still
on the
have to-
24th if they
Yep,
should
if they choose to appeal that value, they do have the opportunity to appeal to this board yet. So since we caught this the first day, it's a good thing to get taken care of.
Right.
Hopefully get it done by 25th. Then we do have May 2nd. I don't wanna have to meet that day, but it's there if we need to.
Okay, so at this point, I would entertain a motion to that effect.
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion by Kennard,
I'll second that.
second by Mayor Shoneman, to authorize the Director of Equalization to send notification to the Pearson property of an increase of $65,340. Clear as mud? Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Anything else?
That's all I have for today. We'll meet again on the 25th. I have 9 or so, contested, appeals there. More than that. Okay.
Right now we do, yeah.
Right now, we have a few more. Well, a couple more just came in.
Yeah.
Will we deal with any Main Street property next week?
We will, no, I think we're gonna, well, yes, we will.
absolutely.
Cause we did just get an appeal in regarding Ward
Ward Hotel.
and the
parking
parking structure.
Yep.
Yep. So that will be a board hearing, it does have a board appeal up to it.
Okay.
As far as Van Slyke,
Yes.
I think we're gonna put that off on let our city handle that, will take care of the abatement thing there, as opposed to a board hearing. I think that's just a better way to
Okay,
go about it.
very good. Anything else we need to deal with today?
That's all I got ready for today. Last week was supposed to be a big prep week, and all I did is move snow, so.
Yeah, it affects a
So it looks
lot of
like
people.
we're gonna have a soft landing, huh?
Yeah, I think, so, and this won't be next week, it'll be the 25th.
There won't be a meeting next week at 1.
Not consolidated, it'll be county next
Okay.
week.
Okay.
County next week at 1.
County is one
Consolidated
next week,
25th at
consolidated
1.
25th at 1.
Very good. Anything else to come before the Consolidated Board this afternoon? If not, we will recess until the 25th, correct?
Correct.
Okay, entertain a motion for, motion by Gage,
Second.
second by Alm, to recess until April 25th, 1 PM. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.